about. We could laugh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective. It's great to see you this week. We have so much to talk about here on Millennium News 24. And we got your G Check coming up as well. So let's just get right into it. Okay. So, we're in the new America. Okay. So we called this right a long time ago. We are in the new America and we are the new Americans. And this is why we need your perspective. This is why we need you to tap in wherever you're watching us at on Facebook. I'm hearing that we got a good Facebook gang going on. Thank you, everybody out there. Shout us out. Give us comments. Let us know what you think and let us know your perspective so we can talk about it here. So where do you want to begin? Do you want to begin Joe Biden? Do you want to begin President Trump? Do you want to begin the New Orleans escapees? Where are we going with this? Because we got so much American news to talk about. We got some hip hop stuff going on. We got everything going on. Okay. So let's just jump right into it. Okay. So Joe Biden on the decline. Okay. So we found out last week that former President Joe Biden has prostate cancer, an aggressive stage of prostate cancer. Now, President Trump jumped right in and he said, well, to get to stage 9, you had to know that for a little while, right? So what's going on? So President Biden has prostate cancer and we're just now finding out about it. But Jake Tapper, here's the crazy part. So Jake Tapper, somebody who has threw the flag up for President Biden all this time, now writes a book called Original Sin, talking about the decline and talking about how all his staffers and everybody was complicit with what was going on and how they were hiding his mental and physical decline. Okay. So it's very funny that the book comes out right at the time that Biden decides to tell everybody, yeah, I got prostate cancer. But let's go back to Vice President Kamala Harris, where, she said, listen, he's in good shape. He's great. Everything's great. Remember our girl Corinne? I kind of miss you, Corinne. Remember our girl Corinne was out there and saying, President Biden is the leader of the free world. What are you talking about? There is no decline when it comes to President Biden. Now everybody's rolling it back. Oh my God. We should have been looking at this. We should have been. Everybody except the conservatives. And so now what you see is you'll see that Megyn Kelly is out here saying, look, we knew about it. We reported it. Y'all said we was crazy. Y'all said that Trump was about to, turn us into Russia and everything from there on out, right? And now you saying, oh, Biden was on the decline. Really? And so is this Republican MAGA nation? Is that what people are really saying when they're really saying that now we understand 72% of the country said that President Biden was not fit for office, and everybody was talking about, oh yeah, him walking off the stage blind, shaking people's hands, everything all crazy was really crazy business. And it was really exactly what we thought it was. Now, I'm going to go on record to let you know that I said before he even got elected the last time that he was showing signs of dementia and we needed to take that and he wasn't going to be able to do the 4 years. So we need to go back on the books with that because I told you before you even elected him the last time. So now what is going to happen to the Democratic Party when we start looking at how the Dems, have been going across the board, telling lies about President Trump, telling lies about President Biden, and doing all this. Now they're also talking about the auto pen. So they got this auto pen that signs Joe Biden's name, right? They got the auto pen that signed Dr. Fauci's pardon. What we talking about here? We got the auto pen that signed 10 of Joe Biden, President Joe Biden's family members' pardons, and the pardons for all those pardons that he did. He did a bunch of pardons um at the end of his presidency for a bunch of people that were on death row. Auto pen. What is we talking about here? How many times and who was behind the auto pen? And now that's what we want to really know. This is what the people need to know. We need answers. Okay, where are we going with this? Auto pen, meaning he did not do this. So who was controlling the country? Was it President Obama? Now I feel a little better if he come out and say, look, I was behind a lot of the stuff, but I just don't feel like a Biden presidency was a good presidency. The gas prices went up, the food prices went up, and he was largely behind a lot of that stuff. So who was he working for? We know for a fact that he was getting money from China. We know for a fact that he was getting money, Hunter and all his little stuff, and that's why he pardoned his son, right? We know for a fact that all of this stuff was happening and going on. We know this for a pure fact. So now what does that really mean to us? Right? Does that mean that the Democratic Party was trying to dupe us? Yes. Yes. Now, I'm not going to say that the Republican Party, okay, didn't do anything and doesn't need any work on how they deal with minorities in America, because we got to talk about Trump going and getting refugee status for the 59 Afrikaners out of South Africa, right? 59 white Africans who have pillaged the African community. 70% of them are farmers. 70% of the farmers in South Africa are white. I don't understand these numbers. And now President Trump is bringing them over here and saying, listen, they need refugee status amongst everybody else that's claiming and that's coming here for refugee status because they're white. I don't want to say that. President Trump said, well, I don't care if there's black or white, but these are white people, and so they get the status. And so everybody's up in arms because wait. We like America first, President Trump. What is we talking about? And so now America first doesn't mean white first, right? I know it doesn't. It doesn't. But we have to make sure that everybody understands that across the board, and you can't just pull a couple of Elon's cousins from Africa, pull them up and say, oh yeah, y'all are good. Y'all come over. We're going to give you some of this black farmland that we took from the black people over here, Americans, hello, and then let them figure out their way, but you guys will be okay. But I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna say it was only 59, okay, 59. So now here, before I leave the Biden situation, is it your right as an American citizen to know if a sitting president has cancer? Now, that's the real question. Is it our right to know? Right? Is it our right? Or can they be like, oh, I'm suffering, whatever I'm suffering from, and the American public needs to know. No, the American public needs to know. Let me tell you why we need to know. The American public needs to know because if you might die off, God forbid, right, in the middle of a presidency, we need to know that we're about to go to the vice president is about to take hold of that, right? They're saying that this Biden scandal is worse than Watergate. Now, do you remember Watergate? Watergate was when President Nixon broke into the DNC at the Watergate Hotel. They broke in. They had the little flashlights. They was going around. They put listening devices all over so they can make sure that he got in. Now, this was back in, I believe, 1972. He ended up resigning 74. Now, they're saying that this Biden, and it is, because he was just, he was, only thing he was doing as a president was tapping phones. This guy right here, okay, President Biden, he's out to snacks. We don't even know if he was not in zombie mode. At least when we seen him, we knew he was in zombie mode when we seen him. But what about the times that we didn't see him? What about all the things that signed the with the auto pen, the executive orders, and everything that was going on with the auto pen? Who's behind the auto pen? Okay, and so that's what Americans want to know right now, and we also want to know is it okay for a president? You know, so now we know that Biden is in his ninth stage, President Trump with that ninth stage. Now we know that Biden is in his ninth stage of this prostate cancer, which is very far. I mean, I'm stage 4. I'm still, stage 4 is the worst part, right? So he's in the ninth stage. And now that we know that he's there, and so we know that he's sick, and I think that's what they're saying, and I think they're looking for sympathy with this book coming out. The Democrats are so mad at Jake Tapper because Jake Tapper was their man. Right now he like, oh no, everybody knew, we all knew, and they're saying, no, Jake, you were complicit too, you played along, so don't get it twisted, Jake. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to play out, but we're going to see some very interesting news going forth. So let's go ahead to President Trump last week in the White House with the South African president. So, South African president, he's all hype. Yeah, we sitting down. We talking about making this money. Let's rekindle our relationship. I know everything was a little rocky. So President Trump said, yeah. Look at this video right here. And so the video was an opposing party and the people that the factions in South Africa who are killing off the white people and the Africans out there, the white Africans out there, and like, you got to go. Okay, you don't belong here. Y'all pillaged our land. Y'all taking advantage of us. You got to go. So Trump is like, yo, what's up? What's up with that? These are my white people, getting stomped out. What's up with that? Okay, so the president said, let me see that paperwork. Let me see that. You see the president, he trying to snatch the paperwork. Trump keep pulling it back. That's my G right there. So he keep trying to pull it back. So he finally get it. So then they find out that Trump, what he was holding up, the paperwork that he was holding up, might have been from the Congo and might not have been from the South African, exactly what he was talking about. But so the South African president, he brought in some folks and some golfers and some white South Africans to plead the point. And he said, look, these are who those people are. This is not who this regime is as president right. This is not who this regime is as president right now. Okay, so we have to definitely focus on exactly who's who and who's what. And before we go to the break, let's talk about the Lion of Lenox Avenue. Congressman Charlie Rangel passed away on Memorial Day 2025 at the age of 94 years old. This is a man who was in office for over 50 years, longest running congressman, did so much for the village of Harlem. Now, some say that he might have sold Harlem up the river, and maybe we're in this piece now, but let's not take away from the legacy, the Gang of Four, him, Percy Sutton, Basil Patterson, and who am I forgetting? David Dinkins, Mayor David Dinkins. They were the Gang of Four, and they all put themselves in office. And we've got to build this gang. Now, we call this gang over here the Butler Gang, but we've got to build our gang back up again because he left such a legacy for us to follow. He worked with us back in 2015, and he told us, he said, listen, a small group of people can damage you in politics. And I'm telling you, don't be It's not about being Republican or Democrat. It's being a small group that can hurt you. And you'll see some of that video coming up soon. But we're going to go to a break here on Millennium News 24 with your new American perspective. This is Jania Butler. I'm coming back with the G Check, and we will be right back. And we are back. This is Jania Butler here with your new American perspective here on Millennium News 24. And do we have the news for you? Do we have the news for you? Yes, we do, because this is the new America and we are the new Americans. And I need your perspective. So tune in, Facebook, Sky Network, Horizon Network, Apple, Prime, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you get your TV. We are there around the world. And thank you so much for tuning in and making us one of the best shows here on Millennium News 24, because we talk that talk and you like those perspectives. Okay, so as we're waiting for Mr. A.B. Butler on the G Check. Oh, I don't even know if I should spin out on him, because we got what we got. We got Puffy, we got the New Orleans guys. Let's start with the New Orleans guys. Let's start with my guys who broke out of jail 10 days ago. I believe it was about 10 days ago. May 16th. What's today? 28th. So they out 12 days. They out in the streets. But see, now I want to know, was this a massive jailbreak, or was this more like, I just want to go out, see my girl, see my family, and then go back in? What are they doing? Because 8 out of 10 have gotten caught. Now, I'm not going to say that they had an elaborate plan once they broke out of jail, because everybody got caught, right? There's 2 still left on the prowl, okay? So the 2 still left on the prowl are Anton Massey and Derrick Groves, okay? So they're still on the run. Now, everybody else then got caught up, and about 12 to 14 people have got arrested in aiding and abetting their escape, okay? So that's what, now listen, people, think about this, okay? So that's with people dropping them off somewhere, you're on camera. That's with people giving them money, sending money on a Cash App. Girlfriend, what? On the Cash App? Nah, I'm not having that. Okay. Then just simply helping somebody get from one place to another. You're aiding and abetting, and you're going to jail, or calling you on the phone. So they're tracking everything from the point that these inmates left. They're going back over the phone calls. Who did you call? Where was you going? What did you tell anybody? Any information? Now, we already talked about that. They should be shooting straight over to Mexico and self-deporting, okay? That's what they should be doing, is straight self-deporting and saying, look, I got to get out of here, But what we're seeing, one inmate that's still out there, I don't know if it's Groves or Massey, but one of them was at a Memorial Day barbecue showing off his new haircut and dancing around. Do we really have time for this, my man? And so now everybody on camera is going to jail, including the guy that's sitting there commentating him on the video and saying, oh, yo, it's good to see you on me and all this. And he dancing around. Is this the last dance? What are you doing? You got to get out of here. Okay? You got to hit the road right now. So 2 of them were caught in Texas. The last 3, 2 of them were caught in Texas, and 1 was caught in Baton Rouge. So I want to say the 2 were caught in Texas. They went on a high speed police chase, and they was like, catch me if you can, and they caught them. Okay? But I think that they were zooming to the Mexican border. At least it sounds that way. Sounds good. We're going that way. But dude in Baton Rouge, okay, I don't know what he's talking about or where he's going with this, okay? Because the guy in Baton Rouge, I don't how do we work this? Okay? So um okay, so how we working it? Okay, I'm just looking over what. So, like I said, did they just want to go see family, see their girl, make sure their girl was, you know, what is going on? So now, uh, Groves is convicted of second-degree murder. Massey has escaped 3 times, and the reward is $20,000. So that's what's really going to get people to talking. They want that money. They're not worried about whether or what you doing. They want that money. Okay. And so also in New Orleans, it's a big sheriff's race. Okay. Susan Hudson suspended her campaign. She was running for re-election for sheriff. And so she said that, listen, they trying to get her out of office by any means necessary. But they didn't clog up the toilet. Okay. Somebody said they would shank the guy, the maintenance worker. Remember, we talked about the maintenance. They talked about the maintenance worker that said um, these people would get arrested if they were feeding the inmates information, giving them food, sending money, and they're getting a reward and a high bond in that place. Okay, so that's the crazy part of what's happening and what's going on out there in New Orleans. Okay, so I don't know how that's going to work. How that's going to, go with everything that's going on. Okay, so let's jump into the Puffy. This, I think, is day 10. Are you watching it? You can't see it physically, but the airwaves are crowded up. Everybody is going down. It's a circus. I'm hearing that it's a circus downtown at the federal court building in Brooklyn, and everybody is out and about. I think is it in Manhattan or is it in Brooklyn? I'm not sure, but everybody is out and about. We've seen Gene Deal, over the last week. Kid Cudi, he jumped in and he said his piece. His girl Capricorn Clark, a former assistant, and Cassie's assistant, she testified, had some damning testimony. There was a lot of people that were there talking about what is really going on with Puff Daddy. Okay, so we've got to really look at this case. Now, a lot of people were saying, again, we talked about it. A lot of people saying this might be a mistrial. This is not a RICO case. But if you're really, really listening beyond the shadow of a doubt, what they're talking about and what this prosecution is bringing. Now, I think this is a public hanging. Don't get me wrong. I think this is absolutely a public hanging to the point where Diddy is being castrated in the American public. Remember, they used to put black people on trees and used to hang, and everybody used to stand around and watch black people hang, back in the medieval times when they get ready to hang you and they say all your crimes and then you are about to get hung, right? This is the point of what's happening with Diddy. And we're seeing a live hanging, and a lot of us are clapping for it. But wait. Is this what we're supposed to be doing? Now, he's a sexual deviant. We know that, okay? If we got anything out of this, like you like a little weird stuff, and we don't know exactly why and where you got all this weird stuff from, okay? So you like a little weirdness, cool. But now we've got to talk about these guns and stuff. So now he's got the guns with the serial numbers etched off. I'm thinking, oh no, Puffy has got a permit for these guns. He had an AR-15 in there. You know they don't like that. You know they coming from you. What you got the AR for? Okay. A lot of his assistants, they detailed him going after Suge Knight and, at the diner, go get the guns that, he riding out. Puffy was the ultimate gangster, the ultimate John Gotti. He lived it out right in front of our faces. Okay, so this is a wonder of what the hell is happening, because we seen this live and direct. And so now his assistant Capricorn Clark, she comes in and she's talking about, well, listen, Diddy was kicking Cassie up and down the driveway with a robe and underwear on after the Kid Cudi incident. Now, Kid Cudi said, listen, Diddy was in my house, right? He came to my house because he heard that I was dating Cassie. The Diddy then went off, right? He put the girl Capricorn Clark, forced the girl Capricorn Clark in the car, had the gun. She said, well, one time she said she pointed it at him. He pointed it at her. And the next time she said that, he just had it there, but that's good enough. So she's in a wild chase with D-Rock's brother, driving the car to Kid Cudi's house in the Hollywood Hills, around the hills and everything like that, going after Kid Cudi, because he's looking for his girl, okay, that he done drugged up and does all this craziness with. What is you doing with the next man? How did you get out? How did you get out? That's what he's saying. So now homegirl said that she was scared out of her mind. They were going to kill Kid Cudi, and that she called Cassie on the phone and said, yo, we at Cudi's house. And Cudi in the background, what? So it's a whole bunch of, but I'm just going to say that Puffy is the gangster of the century. I think that he blows out, John Gotti and all of them. I mean, I'm not going to say, you got your guy Gene Deal that says that he showed up in the courtroom. He actually didn't testify, but he did say that he showed up in the courtroom for all the fallen soldiers along the way that he lost through Diddy's actions and all his antics. And obviously, this case that they're building is they're trying to say that Puffy's Puffy's staff, everybody was nervous and scared of Puffy, right? Everybody was in a place where they feared this man, Puff Daddy. So, okay, so where do we go with that? Okay, is that okay? Is that a RICO? They're saying he's in a RICO by himself, but he's really not, because there's so many people. You had the Punisher come in and talk about, he had about 12 different with 12 different encounters with he and Cassie seemed to like it. But see, what people don't realize, when you're looking at a young woman, 17 years, Puffy's junior, that is trying to be down, she even somebody made statements saying that Cassie even made statements saying, well, Puffy is who I'm going to go after, Jay-Z, he's taken. So she wanted the big wig, right? She wanted to be the top of the castle. Now, how much and how far does that go when we're looking into stuff? Okay. So we're looking into stuff and saying, wow, Cassie, okay, she wanted the cream of the crop, but that does that mean that what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Okay, so Cassie is a young lady who was impressionable. Now, did she deserve to go through all of that? No, she did not. She did not deserve to go through all of that, and not at the hands of Puffy or anybody of the sort. Okay, so we've got to really take issue on that and look into how we feel about this. How do you feel? We're going to take a break and we're going to come back, but how do you feel about this young woman? I'm really tired of people blaming the woman and like this man wasn't the problem, right? I'm tired of that, in that sense. So we're going to come right back here on Millennium News 24, and we got way more to talk about. We come back with AB Butler in the G Check, and I'll see you in a minute. This is Jania Butler, Millennium News 24, and this is your New American Perspective.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen to America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are back with your New American Perspective. This is your host, Jania Butler, and we just got finished talking about day 10 of the Diddy trial. It's intense out there. What do you guys feel? Are you guys interested? I always think that situations like this are about more so about something that they're trying to distract us from. I don't know what they're trying to distract us from, but I feel like it is something they're trying to distract us from. Here we go with our live host, AB Butler in the house. What's up, Mr. Butler?
Hey, listen, I'm here, cuz, in the house, just, chilling with that lady, the moms, getting better and better every day, just trying to.
So how you feeling? How you doing?
Well, I'm feeling good, just trying to build my eyes back up since the tumor was on my eyes. So, my eyes is really kind of weak right now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it weak to the point where the glasses don't help, or you just feel them straining?
Nah, the glasses, I think I gotta go get a new prescription and let them be a little more stronger, you know what I mean?
Okay. Look, you get a little older. That's what I heard be happening and all that.
That means, listen,
So,
I
so
don't know about
welcome
all that.
to the show. Welcome to the G Check, everybody. I've been talking to the folks for the last half hour about what's happening and what's going on. So we've been talking about just now the day 10 of the Diddy trial. Your people's Capricorn Clark just got on the stand and she blew Diddy away. She said that she was in a high-speed chase, chasing after Kid Cudi through the Hollywood Hills, trying to kill him when Puffy is trying to kill him, blowing up the house. And then she said that she was about to go work for Chris Lighty, but then Chris Lighty passed away. Chime in, G check this for us, please.
I'm a G check this
And
right
you might
here,
need
right?
to speak up a little bit. You seemed a little low on my side. I'm not sure.
Check 1 2 testing 1 2 1 2 testing.
It might be me.
It might be you, but I'm a G check this real quick. You know what I mean? Let me say this. I know Capricorn. Capricorn had a lot of game with her. You know what I mean? Because let me be real with you. When she said that she was coming to work for Chris and 50 and them, nah, that was a setup through his I hope we can beep this, his slick wife. You know what I mean? They were scheming on. They were scheming. They've been scheming for a long time. I think they had a dealing. They was doing something together. You know what I mean? When I mean doing something together, doing something together. So she kept coming to the office, and I think Chris' wife was trying to line something up because Chris' wife was very sneaky and weird. You know what I mean?
Bleep.
So you can't believe what she say, but me personally, when I'm in the office, I told Chris about a lot of these people was no good, and she was one of them.
Mm.
She was trying to get in position. So it was basically they was trying to put her in position before they plan to kill Chris.
Right.
That's a
And that's
G
a good
check.
one too, because let me bring up another point that they brought up in this trial. They said that, that Puffy was like, I'll make you kill yourself. That's what Capricorn Clark said to that Diddy said to her, that I will make you kill yourself out here.
Me personally,
So
Capricorn had a lot of game with us, so I wouldn't believe nothing she said. You know what I mean? Because she was
mm,
very slick. From the day I came home and I met her running around Puff, and she got too much game with her, B.
okay. And
Yeah.
so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's your G check. We don't know about Capricorn. Well, she said she took people on a high speed chase, and she took the people in that courtroom for a ride. Now, so we also talked about let me ask you this question. Does the American public, right, you have a right to know whether the president has cancer?
A G check, America need to know. You know what I mean? America definitely need to know. But once again, American got a lot of secrets, and that's a G check.
That's a pure G check. And I want to refer to Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo. That was their argument. Chris Cuomo said, listen, Bill O'Reilly said, look, it's an American right for us to know whether the president has cancer. Now, Chris Cuomo said, well, look, we don't know, do we? And so the president, they're not going to tell us, do we? So it is not all right because they go over and they do X, Y, and Z stuff. But President Biden, we talked about a little earlier, President Biden has said that he now has prostate cancer. And
Mm.
so he's in a late aggressive stage of prostate cancer. So we're going to wish for the best for him, but he's in a big, 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 big trouble, More in hip hop news. Let's G check this. This is something that is near and dear to me. So I found out that Dame Dash is now got to file for bankruptcy, and he has to sell his American New. Yeah, and when they came out with
Ooh.
American New, the homeboys on the West said, what's up with that? New American, yes,
New
Dame.
American, New
Yes, not.
American. Listen. I'm gonna say something offline where you need to jump on it.
Okay, well, hold that
Mm.
because we talking to the world right now.
Yeah.
And so, American New Film Studio and Streaming Channel. Now, I'm hurt behind that because they are just telling the black man, you can't do it again. You got one shot at this. Now, the Dame Dash had at least 50 to $100 million at one point in his life. He always talked about him being cashaholic and the man and all of this. And now we got to check his G. Now, we got to check his G because now Jay-Z has become a consummate billionaire and everybody's favorite hip hop artist, right? But Dame Dash, who was his partner, who really put him in and believed in him, is now broke and teeth falling out and everything with it. What's the G check here, cousin?
Well, the G check here, is, yo, you need to get that American. Yeah, yeah, you need to get that. But anyway, the G check is, that's what happened in life when it come to us. We forget
Right.
that amnesia is just like cancer. That amnesia is real. People forget, but people took time out to help the
And
bill.
that is my
And,
problem
and,
too.
I just had a conversation with my man Mums, work with E40 and Tech Nine on this conversation that, we the only culture and we the only people that bury our own people alive.
I was
Alive.
talking earlier about how this is like a public hanging, like when they used to hang us on the trees and everything like that.
They
And now
still
we're
hanging us.
seeing we've got so many of our black men, our greats. Now that you got Suge Knight, you got Dame Dash, you got Puffy, all hitting the bottom of the bottom. But these were the people that everybody rushed to. And I'm sorry, somebody needs to go give him some money.
Definitely, you know what it is? They don't want to give Dame Dash no money because of, I'm going to give you the biggest G check in the world. The biggest G check is he too cocky.
He's a Taurus.
Yeah, of course, but he's in is like, if you look at the lineup, what's going on in the world today, real like real people like myself, they want to keep the real ones out and bring the phony ones in where they can
True.
control them. So
True.
they can't, when they can't control you, you always a threat.
But we
That's a
have to
G
get
check.
over that. It is a G check. And we have to get over that because these are unappreciative people. I don't care. You listen, Kevin Hart, okay? Paper
Mhm.
Soldiers was his first film.
Exactly. But you got to remember this. Every A-list artist, B-list artist, let me say this. They nothing but puppets. You get where I'm coming from? It don't matter how much money is somebody pulling the string, and not saying Kevin Hart don't want to give him some money, but the people that pulling that string is like, yo, if you do that, yo,
So
we coming
figure it
at you
out. We just
next.
saw how Joe Biden is getting $50 million from China and all this stuff and the floating it this way, that way, in all kinds of ways. Make sure that he's good. Because this doesn't make any sense to where we lifted these people up, we followed these people around. He gave people opportunities. Even Cameron, I know Cameron said that Dame had said something about, somebody needs to give him some money because he gave all these other people money. That's a fact. It's a G check.
That's a G check.
What are
But
you
you,
talking about?
but you know,
How
but
is he sitting here fighting $100,000 worth of debt and have to sell his own streaming network and nobody's going to get behind that?
you got to remember, this is the biggest G check. That's us. You know what I mean? How many people they see me running like, like a rabbit? Ain't none. The only one that show love is Fat Joe. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Joe. So I love
Right.
my
That's a
brother.
fact.
That's a G check.
That's a
You
G
get where I'm
check.
coming
I'll go
from?
with that.
Ron Stu. You know what I mean? Warren G. What I'm just saying is, come on. Come on. Like Ed Lover. Come on, son. Come on, G check.
Yeah,
Come
this
on.
is a G check. And that's why we here to G check these situations. Okay, before we go to a break, let's talk about something about another hip hop person. Kevin Lyles is being
Ooh, be
sued
more
by
careful.
Lady Luck for $30 million or extorted. I don't know.
Don't that sound
Um,
familiar? That
yeah,
30 million always sound
30
familiar.
million. Let's get this money. But Lady Luck is one of the hottest female hip hop artists out here, and I've always wondered why she failed to launch. Now, again, she's saying that, she ready to put out the tell all book on Kevin. But let me just say, Kevin just got out of the 300 Entertainment, the YSL trial. They were his people out there in Atlanta. Young Thug and YSL Woody and Gunna. They was all his kids out there that was shooting, and all these people that ended up dead and everybody that went to jail. They were his people out there, and he got exonerated, pushed out of the situation as if he didn't know that these little boys was doing all that they were doing. So Lady Luck said, nah, KL, we got some business to take care of. This is a G check.
The G check is, Kev. Let me say this, Kev. I know Kev. The G check is when they start coming at y'all, because at the end of the day, this ain't just about Kev. If you see what's going on, y'all rather look out for all these women, all of them. You'll put these women before your homies. You put these women before your mans that hold you down. All of this. Y'all keep doing this. And if you look at it, go look at the games and look what's happening. They putting these women forward. Then when it runs out, they coming to get you. This right here, this is not over. Most of your artists out there learn from your mistakes. I gotta respect Fat Joe because he got a wife. He with his wife and kids. Gotta respect Jada. He with his kids. You know what I mean? With Warren, with his kids and his wife. So it don't matter. But you gotta remember, the ones is not. Them young ladies gonna do today's heads, tomorrow's tails.
Well, let's take a break real quick and come right back with more intensified G checking out here, because we're gonna get this right. We're gonna stop this bull. I ain't gonna say what it is.
New American.
We're gonna stop all of this. We're gonna stop all of this. We'll be right back on Millennium News 24 with your New American perspective and your G check. That's AB Butler right there. You know what we do.
That's Jania Butler.
And we are back.
Yes, we are.
New American perspective. That's AB Butler over there with the G-Check. And we are here talking about what's going on. Right now, we're talking about Kevin Liles, a former record exec that was helping out Lady Luck back in 1999. So she's bringing up old news, okay? She's bringing up old stuff. Now, she said that he took her head and tried to, pump fake it at his in his groin area. Okay, that's what she said. I'm not saying that. That's what she said. But see, now let me G-check the situation, because I'm feeling some type of way as a female out here, right? Okay, we gotta stop acting like this stuff is not going on. We gotta stop acting like this industry is not a pay for play. We gotta stop acting like these people that are popping out the woodwork. Kevin Liles, oh well, she's got an extensive criminal background history, and she was in for armed robbery and heroin. Nah! Okay, and that's probably why you did try to get a woman that is LGBTQ, okay, to fold in on you, because that would have been a good look for you, right? And so I believe her, right? Now, there's a lot of things going on out here, but we got to stop downing women and black women, women of color, whatever you want to call it, because we're getting the bad rap out here. Now, ladies, we might not be doing a great job all the time, okay? But we're going to need to do better. but we're going to make sure that they do even better than good. But this is a G check because you guys are acting like all of these perverts out here wasn't playing this game. The jig is up. Okay, so everyone that had them fancy, funny fingers trying to do stuff with people to advance their careers, and then when people turned them down, you said you're out of here. This is a pay for play. The only people that are getting ahead are people that are laying down. This is where we're at now.
So the G check is you can see the ones that don't play and lay down. Look at me.
Right.
I'm one of them. I never played, never laid down. You know what I
Me
mean?
too.
So
But
the brick, so the walls is always so high. You get where I'm coming from? But it is basically what's happening is the ones that's in power, the ones that play that game, it's like it's attack on them. You get where I'm coming from? So now it's like the walls are getting so taller. They coming at everybody. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? It's like a domino effect right now. Look at the
what
domino.
needs to
They
happen
keep
now is that every real G that has been out here, as these walls come tumbling down, the walls that they put up so high, the walls that they fake, everything that these little corny dudes got ahead and took their little smarts and got ahead of what was real and blocked everybody else, everybody got to come running through full speed ahead without all the extra.
Yeah. But look,
you're not doing what they did.
Look at this, cuz you saying Lady Luck is LBQ, whatever the numbers is, the 1, 2, 3, the 5, 7, 8, whatever. You get where I'm coming from? So Lady Luck got fixed up. So you got to look at it. When did she allege said a cab tried to give her?
She got fixed up.
Yeah, no. When Lady Luck, back in the days when she used to be in front of Sue's rendezvous, passing on her tape, she looked like the little tomboy.
Okay.
Now she got her hair done and she this and that.
She got her hair done,
she got her hair done and this and that. It's like she don't look like she look like Lady Luck Queen.
She just changed her image.
Exactly. So we got to look at it. When did the moment where she said Kevin try to put the iron hand to the iron leg? You get where I'm coming from? Unless he didn't care. Because you got to remember, when dudes be drinking these 2-sip Sally dudes, when they start drinking, it don't matter. People look different.
These are facts. So now let's jump right into the bombshell for the week. Pat Poose and Remy Ma, they didn't Black Love then left the building. Okay, because Remy had a moment. I'm gonna call it a moment where she just said, you know what, I don't care anymore. And when a woman's fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it.
When a man's fed up.
Yeah, okay. Now, I don't know whose team you want. I'm Team Remy.
Listen, let me say this. This is G-Jack. I know Pat and I know Remy.
Uh-huh.
You get where I'm coming from? So I'm just going to say, this is the biggest G-check I'm going to say between them two. First of all, you got a kid involved.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The kid shouldn't have to go through this. It don't matter your personal life. It's social media. Yo, we really got to keep our personal house business off this social media, because once upon a time, I was just saying, even Cassidy, she pregnant. She gonna have a kid. When that kid get 10 or 11, 12 years old, and when he start going through the internet, oh, my mom's a singer, that kid friend's gonna be like, whoa, yo, can I holler at your moms?
Homeschool, homeschool.
Yeah, well, nah, but still, she got friends. But I'm saying for Pat and Remy, I got a kid involved. So y'all should always look at that first before y'all go
But
on
I think
social
they
media.
did that, okay?
Yeah,
And
but
so
still,
let
it
me
don't,
let me say
listen.
this because
Uh,
Papoose said, and I'll give Papoose. Papoose said I was staying in the house because for my
no,
daughter.
that's
My daughter's
facts.
6 years old. I was trying to be there. But then, she's doing all this other stuff. So Remy came out and said, listen, I've been quiet. And she kept it G the whole time. She like,
Mm,
look, I've been quiet. I ain't said nothing. The easy to block captain. Everybody got jokes, this and that. You done knocked out my new dude and everything like this. I ain't said a word. Ain't nobody came at you no kind of crazy. But now I'm gonna let everybody know that the problem that I have with you, because now they started railroading her and started saying, well, how you gonna let this man do this bid with you and then you come home and then you diss him for the next man, the lesser man. Nah, she like, look, I've been holding him down. That's my man. And I'm holding him down. He gambling, he pawning stuff, he doing all this other stuff that y'all don't see, that I don't say nothing about. And so now he get with the next broad, his come up. And that's what I said from the beginning, that Clarissa Shields is a come up. I think it's a good move for Pat because he doesn't have nothing to fall back on, no music career or the head of TuneCore and all that. We ain't seen nothing from TuneCore from the whole situation. But Remy is like, yo, I'm the one that's bringing in the money. I'm the one that's bringing in and doing all this stuff and sitting back and not saying nothing. And then so now I gotta say something because girlfriend getting too quick at the lip.
mm.
And every time she say something, I'm busting out and I'm saying something too. So I'm Team Remy because I know how these dudes are. And I know I've held down a few dudes in my timeline.
Mm,
And
mm.
it be hard out
Listen,
here for a pimp.
I mean, a real G check. I don't date dudes, so I can't say I know what the dudes are. But like
Okay.
I'm cool. I'm really in the middle, like Moni in the middle where he at. That's
In the
me with
middle.
Remy and Patch. You know what I mean? Because even though I see Remy all the time, my brother Fat Joe, that's nothing but love right there. Then I run it because like I say, people forget. This is what people forget. Chris gave Pat Pools them deals at Jive. You'll never hear a lot of people say that. That's where, rest in peace, K Slay. Yeah. K Slay brought him to Chris. Chris got the deal, got the $1 million deals. But a lot of people forget about Chris. Chris did so much for all these people, and
Talk
people
about Chris
act.
Lighty.
Chris Lighty, baby Chris, Violator. If you don't understand Violator, as a team, you know what I mean? We did so much for these artists and these artists out here that Chris was behind them. It's a lot of people Chris was behind, and people don't know that, but people forget. You always hear, and I hate saying the names, you always hear a Mona Scott. You always hear a James Cruz. Whoa. We're back.
And we are back. Yeah. So before we cut out, let's talk about Adam 22, the host of No Jumper that was in LA. He had big studios in LA, and we just seen Brick Baby and Big U and everybody go to jail after being on his show. He's the West Coast Vlad TV, okay,
Mm.
and now he's in New York. And what I'm gonna tell you, all you New York little young homies, cut it out, okay? Don't be having this dude now with an open pass. This is a G check, an open pass walking through New York talking about Oh, show me your hood. Let me see where the crack is at. Let me see where you doing this at. Let me see where you doing that. I don't want to see it. Adam 22, you're out of here. Okay? So Bobby Shmurda and everybody that's dragging him through the hood, when you see him, just like them LA Jones ran him out here, he is not to make money in New York. I'm sorry, I don't know you, Adam, but I watched you, and I watched you be a culture vulture to our community, and this is a G check. So I'm telling y'all right now, he's out of here from that on. So well, let's just say New York Knicks. Give me your last thoughts on the New York Knicks, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm gonna say this for the New York Knicks, man. Listen, I don't know if y'all getting tired, y'all giving up, but y'all gotta leave your wives, put them in a hotel, fly them on vacation somewhere. You gotta get away from them and get your mind right. Cause guess what? You're repping a city. There's no place like it. You know what I mean? You got to rep the city, man. Come on. Get off the laziness. Come on. The Pacers, what they doing is they playing Rutgers ball with this New York team. They coming in our house in our park on 155th, playing our game in the park on the Knicks. Come on. Come on, Knicks.
Well,
It's a
they
G
got one
check.
more game.
This is a G
It's
check. Do you
this
want to
is a
go
G
home? You
check.
got all this. You got all these fans coming out. And I always say this. We got somebody in that crowd, supposed to be on that New York bench. I'm
Who's
on my
that?
New York.
Who's that? Oh, maybe I don't know who that was, but that's
Mhm.
our show for today, ladies and gentlemen. This is your New American Perspective, coupled with your G check. That's AB Butler over there,
Yes, it
and he
is.
does his thing when he gets on with us. So, again, New York Knicks, they need one more game to win or to lose to go to the next to the
Level.
finals with OKC or Minnesota. OKC is beating the dog's backs off of Minnesota right now. So we're looking at OKC, and
The
I don't
Knicks.
know if it's
The
Indiana
Knicks.
or what,
We're going to say the
but
Knicks. We're going to say
well,
the
I'm gonna
Knicks.
go ahead and say the Knicks. I've been a New Yorker since Pat Ewing missed the finger roll, but it was great to see you, ladies and gentlemen, today. Look forward to seeing you next week on the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. That's my co-host AB Butler, and
That's
we'll see
my
you next week.
co-host, my cousin, Shadia
And
Butler.
we'll see you next week.
Peace.